Wonder why I named the show the Leather and Lace Podcast? The name is quite evocative, but I don't think it's just because it sounds kind of sexy. I think that it's because something within us deep down is really stimulated by polar opposites. I wonder why that is. See, too often, polarizing concepts cause us to fight with each other. Something about two things opposite of each other gets our egos going, and we get all invested in arguing over which one is better or which one is more correct. We tend to view polarized concepts as combative enemies, when in actuality, polar opposites have the potential to birth new creations when they work together that alone they can't achieve. But that's only possible when we can stop seeing opposites as adversaries and start recognizing them as co-creators, blending and integrating instead of dividing and clashing. Because the truth is, polar opposites, they have two choices. They can either come together to create or stay divided and destroy. I don't know about you, but I'd rather see polarity build something powerful than tear everything apart. In other words, make love, not war, okay? Hey, stick around. I'll be right back. Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the new Leather and Lace podcast, where I explore the sacred tension between the physical and the spiritual. I'm Joanna, your host. For this inaugural episode, I want to talk about polarity. What is it? Why is it important? And how can it empower us to create rather than destroy? It is my hope that by the end of this episode, you'll be much more aware of the divine tensions in everyday life that present us with opportunities to either get into a fight or to create something bold and new. Before we get into it, I want to share with you why integrating polarities is something spiritually personal for me. See, a few years ago during meditation, I received a simple yet profound message that completely shifted my perspective. The message was this: truth lives at the center of dichotomy. I don't know about you, but that statement kind of blows my mind, okay? It inspires me to see truth as collaborative rather than something that has to be defined by one thing or another. It inspired me to see how every divide, political, social, relational, it's just an illusion, okay? A purposeful illusion designed to encourage us to find the center where truth lives and to seek the deeper truths about life, about creation, about us, and the unity and oneness of everything. I don't think it really matters which side you pick on any given situation. I mean, we are all here just doing our best with the information available to us. I think what's really important is being able to recognize how each side in any given polarity is actually in service to the other. Allow me to put it in fortune cookie language for you, okay? Here it is. The opposition is not the enemy. It is our teacher. And this is exactly what I want to embody through the Leather and Lace podcast across a multitude of topics. So, if you're someone who craves deeper conversations beyond black and white thinking, or red and blue, some might say, or if you're ready to break out of echo chambers so you can see things from a more integrated perspective, then this show is for you. Thanks for joining me.
So, what exactly is polarity?
That's a great question. Polarity is the dance between opposites, things that are opposing, yet inherently complementary. We see it everywhere, really. In nature, right? We see men versus women. In physics, there's wave versus particle. In human relationships, friend versus enemy. In fact, the concept of polarity is ancient. It's deeply rooted in the symbol of yin and yang, the balance of light and dark.
Cool story, bro, but why is polarity important?
That's another great question. I think the most important thing to understand about polarity is that it isn't about conflict, okay? It's not about conflict. It's about creative tension. It's the engine that powers the forward motion of creation. Think about it, okay? It's like you have a battery, right? A battery has a positive and negative charge. If you take one away, there's no energy, there's no movement, no power. Polarity isn't a curse that keeps us in perpetual war with one another. Polarity is the blessing that catalyzes us to create new things. Kind of like when a man and a woman have sex and make a baby and create new life. Speaking of men and women, much of modern discourse tends to pit men and women against each other, framing the sexes as adversaries instead of seeing them as complementary energies. But when we zoom out to see from a higher perspective, from a more cosmic perspective, we see that the masculine and feminine are fundamental creative energies. And when they work together in harmony, they have the potential to create something powerful and, metaphorically speaking, orgasmic. Now, let's cool things down a little bit here and take a quick look at politics. This is likely the most polarizing topic in our shared reality. Am I right? I mean, it's so easy to think that one side is good and the other side is bad, isn't it? But what if that mindset is holding us back? What if, by so righteously dismissing the other side, we're actually robbing ourselves of a deeper understanding? And what if the path to a more beautiful world isn't about picking a side at all, but about integrating the wisdom of both? I mean, it's something to think about, yeah? Because whatever we're doing now surely ain't it, okay? Look, we will likely dive into politics in future episodes, but for now, we're moving on. Okay, so yeah, gender dynamics and politics are some of the most polarizing topics out there. But polarity isn't just something that's happening outside of us, it's playing out within us as well. As human beings, we're constantly caught between logic versus intuition, self versus other, stability versus change, as if choosing one over the other means losing the other. And here's what we need to realize, okay? These tensions, they're not here to break us. They're here to shape, to challenge, to evolve us. Indeed, polarity, it's not a curse. It's the engine of conscious evolution.
So, but like, how though?
Another great question. Okay, first of all, let's acknowledge how easy it is to see polarity as divisive. There's like two sides locked in conflict, each convinced that their side is right. But as I said earlier in Fortune Cookie, the opposition is not the enemy, it is our teacher. Okay, think about it. True unity, it's not about sameness. It's not about erasing differences or forcing agreement. It's about integration. The answers are all around us if we have the eyes to see. Day and night, land and sea, expansion and contraction, each exists in contrast to the other, yet together they form a balanced picture. The same applies to us. When we resist polarity, or when we resist seeing things as one, we create separation and disharmony. But when we learn to hold both perspectives or both sides of any polarity, both truths, we move towards something higher, a unity that honors full spectrum of existence. And here's the key: unity isn't the absence of polarity, it's the conscious embrace of it. We see this in the most powerful partnerships, whether in relationships, movements, or ideas. We see that true strength, it's not about dominating the other, it's about empowering both sides to contribute to something greater. Masculine and feminine, logic and intuition, us and them. When we stop seeing these as rivals and start recognizing them as co-creators, we unlock something deeper than just tolerance. Oh yeah, it's so much more than that. What we create is true harmony. So instead of asking or fighting about which side is right or which side is better. The more creative and more conscious question is, how do these opposing forces need each other? Because at the heart of polarity isn't division. At its heart is invitation. Polarity offers us an opportunity to step beyond opposition and into a space where something new, something bold, something unified can be born. So, you want the world to be more peaceful, do you? You want it to be more fair and just, more loving and compassionate? Me too. Let's start by seeking to understand chaos, injustice, and hatred. Not so we can fight against them, but so we can be conscious of their purpose. See, true peace isn't the absence of conflict. It's the ability to remain centered within it. Justice? It's not about punishment, it's about restoring balance. And love? It's not just about softness. Love requires great strength. So, if you want to transform the world, start by embracing these polarities within yourself. Because when you can hold both the light and the shadow without rejecting either, then you become the bridge that unites them. You become the truth at the center of paradox. All right, friends and allies in creating a more beautiful and unified world, thank you so much for spending time with me this week. And I hope you come back for more. Next week, I got a story for you about being thirsty. Look, trust me, it's deep. Anyway, if this episode gave you something to think about, or if it inspires you to seek the truth at the center of dichotomy, please do me a favor and like this video so that more people have the opportunity to be likewise inspired. I'd also love to hear your thoughts. What does finding truth at the center of dichotomy mean to you? What are your thoughts on polarity being like the gateway to truth and unity? I mean, it's a little ironic, isn't it? And yeah, I would love to know what you think about all that. Also, please remember to subscribe to the channel to ensure that you catch my weekly video drops. You can also connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, X, and Patreon, as well as offer your support via PayPal if you feel called to do so. All the links are provided in the video description below. Until next time, stay grounded and embrace the sacred. Love and light, friends. Bye bye.